I'm doing this video because there are some people who think that I am anti-Jew. And I am not anti-Jew. In fact, I am 100% pro-Jew. But please consider that in the book of Revelation chapter 2 and chapter 3, there are mentioned these who say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Okay, with that in mind, I'm going to read the Wikipedia definition of anti-Semitism, and we'll talk about that. Anti-Semitism is suspicion of, hatred toward, or discrimination against Jews for reasons connected to their Jewish heritage. According to a 2005 U.S. governmental report, anti-Semitism is hatred toward Jews individually and as a group that can be attributed to the Jewish religion and or ethnicity. In its extreme form, it attributes to the Jews an exceptional position among all other civilizations, defames them as an inferior group, and denies their being part of the nations in which they reside. A person who holds such views is called an anti-Semite. Anti-Semitism may be manifested in many ways, ranging from expressions of hatred of or discrimination against individual Jews to organized violent attacks by mobs, or even state police or military attacks on entire Jewish communities. Extreme instances of persecution include the pogroms, which preceded the First Crusade in 1096, the expulsion from England in 1290, the massacres of Spanish Jews in 1391, the persecutions of the Spanish Inquisition, the expulsion from Spain in 1492, the expulsion from Portugal in 1497, various Russian pogroms, the Dreyfus Affair, and the final solution by Hitler's Germany and official Soviet anti-Jewish policies. Now, when it says here Jewish heritage, first of all, Wikipedia is wicked, okay? The people who put this together, these are people who exploit others through word games, okay? I use this as an example because it's just so commonly used, so this is where a lot of people get their information, actually the heritage that it mentions hasn't been given to the true Jews, okay? That is, or I should say, their inheritance in the saints. Okay, the saints are still, sitting around waiting for the systems to fall, causing the systems to fall also. And so what we're going to do, rely on a 2005 U.S. governmental report. What government would that be? Is that the government of God that has influenced Wikipedia? I think not. That's the perverted government, of these people that are called God's elect and called the powers that be, which have fleeting power and end up dying and being eternally separated from God. they end up dying the second death because they're not first dead in Christ. These elect, who I keep saying, that are elected, and I believe I said this in my last video, God knows His elect. There's no reason for a re-election. Okay, these are imposters. Alright? So, when I speak against this six-pointed star of Remphan, that the book of Acts is written in the book of Acts, that God, He was against. It's obvious in Acts chapter 7. Those are the false Jews that are under law. Are God's elect under law or under grace? Now, Paul talked about this, and I keep going over this in video to video. He said, you are not under the law, but under grace. So, it talks about against woe to the rich man in the book of James, chapter 5. Well, what do I do? Who do I exploit? I'm a true Jew who has been persecuted against, and I don't whine about it. I don't need a word made up for me. Oh, they're being anti-Semite. I think they should be arrested and locked away because what? So I can keep my all the crap that I stole from people through lies? Every single one of these false Jews are going to lose everything they thought they owned. It'll all be taken from them as this whole thing unfolds, this time of great trouble. I've mentioned this before, and I've had some people kind of, understand or speak to me as such in the fact that I am this Michael that Daniel talked about, and some people are like, oh, is he saying he's that Michael? Well, of course, where do they think Michael is? Hanging up somewhere in a Catholic whorehouse? A statue? Is God dead? So, what I've been doing, especially lately, is just taking, people who are hiding the truth and trying to get me to stop saying the things that I say, and I've just been taking them and making public examples out of them and destroying them with their own words. I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying it because these people need to be exposed, for who they are. What do I do? I gave up everything for this ministry. Who do I exploit? I help people. I actually do for people. I don't sit around like some tax hooker, collecting a whore's wages and living in some frickin' mansion.